When hundreds of birds surrounded the plane, the crew and passengers froze in bewilderment and fear. Captain Jacob, an experienced pilot, had never encountered such a phenomenon in his entire career. The sky, clear and calm just moments ago, had turned into a chaotic whirlwind of feathers and wings. The birds seemed to act with inexplicable determination, as if trying to convey some important message. No one on board could have guessed that this strange incident would be the beginning of an amazing story, and the true reason behind it would shock everyone. It all started as a typical day for Captain Jacob and his crew. The weather was clear, the forecast favorable, and nothing foreshadowed trouble. However, soon after takeoff, the situation began to change rapidly. At first, there were only a few birds appearing on the horizon, but with each passing minute, their numbers grew until the sky around the plane turned into a living, fluttering carpet of feathers and wings. Passengers, noticing the unusual phenomenon outside the windows, began to show signs of concern. Many of them had never seen so many birds so close to an airplane. Anxious whispers turned into loud exclamations when it became clear that the birds were not just flying by, but purposefully following the airliner. Captain Jacob, faced with an unprecedented situation, decided to contact ground controllers. After describing the situation, he was instructed to change course to the nearest airport. However, even this maneuver could not distract the persistent birds from their mysterious mission. The situation intensified with each passing minute. The pilots understood that any bird getting into the engine could lead to a catastrophe. Their fears were justified when a deafening bang was heard and the plane began to shake violently. One of the engines had failed, and now the chances of reaching the nearest airport were rapidly diminishing. Captain Jacob, assessing the situation, made a risky but only possible decision to perform a water landing. This was a maneuver they had practiced on simulators but never thought they would have to apply in real life. With bated breath, the crew and passengers prepared for the inevitable. Thanks to the pilot's skill, the water landing went relatively smoothly. However, the ordeal was not over. As soon as the emergency exits opened, the birds, as if waiting for this moment, rushed towards the plane with renewed vigor. Their behavior seemed not just strange but downright aggressive. The rescuers who arrived at the scene were as amazed as the crew. They had to fight not only the waves and passenger panic, but also the relentless attacks from the birds. It seemed that the feathered creatures were protecting the plane from any outside interference. When all passengers were evacuated, the investigation began. Investigators arriving at the crash site were puzzled by the unusual behavior of the birds, which continued to circle over the plane, not allowing anyone to approach it. The birds paid special attention to the cargo hold, as if there was something there that greatly troubled them. A check of the passenger list revealed a suspicious individual, a man recently released from prison where he had served time for smuggling. This discovery made investigators pay special attention to the contents of the cargo hold. When the plane was finally towed to shore, investigators, fending off the persistent birds, entered the cargo hold. What they discovered there shocked even the most experienced professionals. In several large crates were hundreds of exotic birds, many of which were on the brink of life and death. It turned out that the former inmate had decided to return to criminal activity, this time engaging in smuggling rare bird species. He had sedated them before the flight and hidden them in the cargo hold. However, some birds woke up during the flight and began to emit distress signals which were heard by their free brethren. This incredible story of natural solidarity amazed all participants of the events. The birds, risking their own lives, were trying to save their brethren locked in crates. Their collective actions led to the forced landing of the plane, which ultimately saved the lives of not only the captive birds but possibly the passengers themselves, as it was unknown how this smuggling operation might have ended. Captain Jacob, reflecting on what had happened, couldn't help but admire the instincts and unity of the birds. "In all my career, I've never encountered anything like this," he admitted to journalists. "These creatures showed incredible loyalty and courage. Perhaps we humans should learn from them." This story not only led to the arrest of the smuggler and his accomplices, but also caused widespread public resonance. Ecologists and animal rights activists used this case to draw attention to the problem of illegal trade in exotic species. many people reconsidered their attitude towards birds, seeing them not just as mindless creatures, but as beings capable of complex social interactions and emotions. For the aviation industry, this incident became a reason to develop new safety protocols and more thorough baggage checks. Ornithologists received unique material for studying communication between birds and their ability for collective action. In the end, this extraordinary story became a symbol of how nature can teach us lessons of mutual aid and solidarity. It reminded people that we share this world with amazing creatures, capable of actions that we are used to considering exclusively human. Captain Jacob and co-pilot Billy, having survived this incredible adventure, became not only heroes in the eyes of the passengers, but also witnesses to an amazing manifestation of natural instinct and mutual assistance. Their experience forever changed their view of the world and reminded them that even in the most unexpected situations, one can find a source of inspiration and wonder.